Hey guys, I'm holding in my hand Keith's very first challenge lock. Looks like a brand new, it's a guard security, but it's a clone. You can tell by the keyway, and also we have a key, but the shape of that tells you that that's a quick set keyway. It's just a clone. Got a note, nothing personal in it, so we can show that. His name's Keith. This is my first challenge lock. In the event you can't pick it, take a look inside. So Keith, you gave us a key, and I hope to look inside without that key. Let's see if we can get this thing picked. A wide open keyway, so pretty wide open in terms of what we can fit up inside of there. I'm going to use top of the keyway because it keeps it out of my way and it'll let me use the entire bottom part of that keyway as working area. And there is some warding even on a quick set on the bottom here, so I'm going to work from the right side, and I'm going to use, let me use a gem. Give me a little bit deeper. It is a challenge lock, and there's plenty of room to fit this up inside of there. So there's 5. I knew there were 5 because it's standard and I looked at the lock, but I just want to make sure that Keith didn't slip something exotic up in there. Okay, light tension. It is a challenge lock. Let me zoom that in just a little bit, because I got a feeling that if there's any feedback, it's going to be very subtle. And I'm just putting light to medium tension. I'm looking for a binder, and I'm on pin 2. He's the first binder. And that's pretty significant. Got a little bit of fault set going there. That was pin 1. I just touched him, and I touched him again there. Heard a crunch on him. I just barely touched him, but it gave us nothing. I might have just overset him. Now I'm going to move to the back. I just hit pin 3. He's down at the bottom. He is a binder, so I may as well give him a little, got a little bit of counter rotation there on him. And so we got a little more on 3. I'll give him another click. That was 2. I got another click on him. I'm on 5. Little counter rotation. And we got a good fault set going now. Really good. I'm looking for the next binder, and we don't need him. So I would say that pin, I want to say pin 2 is probably a T pin, because you notice I was moving the pick back out. I just touched 2 and we got to open. So we had a very good fault set, and I was just feeling around and I touched 2 and all of a sudden we got to open. So I'm betting pin 3. Of course I'm making a fool of myself. I've been wrong more than I've been right, but hopefully. All right, just so we don't forget, let's go ahead and get the spinning tray up here. Just so we don't forget, let's go ahead and take a look at this key. Hopefully. Pretty good bidding, I got to say, Keith. You got that very high cut hiding behind some of these low cutters. That's a good choice for a challenge lock. All right, it has, even though it's a quick set, it has a Schlag-like tailpiece. So let's see if the, yeah, of course it's non-standard, so it doesn't fit, but that doesn't matter. All we're going to do is take the pick, push down on that little button to unlock it, and then we can just unscrew this tailpiece off. Almost made it. I'll let it go a little bit too soon, about half of a thread too soon. Okay, and don't lose that little spring. You're going to need that guy later when we put him back together. Okay, I accidentally put the key upside down when I was unscrewing it, but that's okay. Again, it gives me another chance to show you guys. This is a very common problem. I get calls about this all the time. Take your pick, push it in. Let me see if I can get, and then lift all the pins, push them back up in the Bible, and then turn your keyway. Might not have the best pick choice here. And unless you have a T pin, which feels like we might, unless you got something exotic in there holding it, it should just rotate. And I'm not going to worry too much about it. I think we can probably slide him out just like that and not sweat it. Yep. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to worry about it. But normally when you put your pick in there and push those pins up into the Bible, you can rotate it. But there's something odd in the pinning on this lock, It's not letting us do that. Something is still sticking. So let me try to turn it upside down. That kind of bothers me. I can't understand why that would not turn, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Here we go. Let's just push them out like this. Make sure our pins, okay, so we're going to have the key pins pointing up the top. And that's tight. Okay, I'm seeing some threads in there. Let's go ahead and dump it and we'll take a look. We do have 5 pins, homemade. Oh, we have a pin in pin on pin 2. So that would explain that. It wasn't a T-pin. Number 3, homemade. 4 homemade and 5 homemade. And then when we look at the core, I see number 1, 3, 4, and 5 are threaded. Only number 2 is unthreaded. It looks like there might have been an attempt on 5 to undercut. No, I think that's just straight up threads. The other side looked like undercutting a little bit, but I think that's just a deep thread on that side. Let me get the tweezers on this guy. We had a pin in pin, which is I always find really interesting. Let me assemble him like that, put him in the right orientation at least. And turn him around. Okay, let's see what Keith has put upstairs. I'm so nervous I'm dropping the tweezers. Oops. Okay, we have standard serrated. It's a homemade one though. And there is our ugly, another pin in pin. Look at that, a pin in pin upper and lower. Isn't that something? I'm going to dump them apart so you can see that. Number 3 is a homemade serrated. Number 4, homemade serrated. And wow, that was a powerful spring. And we got another homemade serrated. Let me dump these guys. See if Keith put any love up inside of here. Flashlight. Yes, he did. Not in every chamber though, and that's always good. It looks like chambers, oops. I see threading in chambers 5, 3, and I think that's it. I think it's just 5 and 3. It might be 4, but it's down at the very bottom. Looks like he didn't quite go far enough on 4. Just barely reaches the tip of the shear line. But great job, Keith. If this is your first challenge lock, you did a great job. Let's take a look at these pins, especially pin number 2. This is the one I find really interesting. And this is the one that you should recall I thought was a T-pin, when in fact that was that little guy hanging down through there. So pin and pin on the top, pin and pin on the bottom, and the rest of these guys are homemade serrateds on the bottom and also homemade serrateds on the top. So on the bottom, probably what was happening, we get this guy like this. Probably I was pushing up and getting him caught in the shear line like that, which led me to believe it was a T-pin, or I don't recall how far up I had him, or this guy was hanging down and just the tip of him might have been stuck. So I can't tell you which way that went, but we were definitely hung up on one of those inner pins. Anyway, Keith, you did a great job on your first lock. More than great. This is a fantastic first effort. I commend you, all of your efforts, and really good workmanship on this too. Anyway, fellas, appreciate your time. Stay safe, stay legal. Keith, thanks for the lock.